welcome to another episode of Your Path to Career Success. I'm Catherine, and today we're talking about a crucial topic for anyone in leadership, pivoting. Specifically, we're going to dive into when and how to transition to a new role or even a new industry. It's something that can be both exciting and daunting, but with the right approach, it can be a career-defining move. In this episode, I'll share insights on recognising when it's time to make a change, how to navigate that transition smoothly, and how to make sure you're not just shifting for the sake of it, but moving towards something that truly aligns with your goals and aspirations. Whether you're in a leadership role now or considering a shift to one, this episode will offer you some guidance on how to make that transition with confidence. But before we jump in, I invite you to grab your favourite beverage, find a comfy spot, grab a notebook, or just sit back and relax and keep listening for those light bulb moments. So how do you know when it's time to pivot? For many leaders, the signs can be subtle, but they're often there if you take the time to look closely. These signs may not always be obvious, and sometimes they show up as feelings you might brush off as temporary frustrations. However, if you dig deeper, you'll often realise that there are clear indicators that something needs to change. Let's dive into a few key indicators that it might be time to pivot. If you find yourself dreading the thought of going to work, or you're just not feeling excited about the challenges ahead, it could be a sign that burnout is setting in. It's normal to feel tired or overwhelmed at times, but when it becomes a constant feeling and you start losing your passion for what once motivated you, that's a red flag. When the fire you had for your role or work starts to dim, it's important to stop and reflect. Is this burnout, or am I no longer aligned with the role? Burnout, especially in leadership, can also stem from taking on too much without proper support. And sometimes the solution is realising you need a break. But if the lack of passion continues, it could signal that it's time for a change, either within your current role or even to a new one. Now let's talk about growth stagnation. Leadership roles typically require constant learning, innovation and growth. But if you're finding that no matter how hard you try, you're no longer growing, it might mean you've hit a plateau. Ask yourself, am I being challenged in the way I once was? If you feel like you're coasting and not learning or expanding your skills, it's important to evaluate if the role still offers opportunities to develop. Sometimes we become comfortable in what we know, but comfort doesn't always lead to growth. If you're not being pushed to improve or stretch your capabilities, you may not be in the right place anymore. Perhaps when you started your role, you were highly motivated by financial success or by leading a large team. But now, those same factors might not resonate with you as much. You might find that personal development, work-life balance, or creating meaningful impact in a different way is more aligned with your current aspirations. When your career values no longer align with the goals of your organisation or the work you're doing, it's a major signal that it could be time for a pivot. If you can no longer see how your values fit into your current role, the disconnect can lead to dissatisfaction and frustration. A strong desire for new challenges is another indicator that a pivot may be on the horizon. Leaders often seek out new opportunities to solve complex problems, lead new initiatives, or develop innovative strategies. If you feel like your role has become repetitive or lacks the excitement and challenges it once offered, it could be a sign that it's time to consider a change. Perhaps you're ready to step into a higher leadership role, take on a completely new responsibility, or even transition to a new industry where you can stretch your skills in new ways. A desire for fresh challenges can be a natural part of career progression, and acting on it can reignite your motivation and push you towards new and rewarding paths. The key here is awareness. It's about being honest with yourself and recognising when these feelings start to surface. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day responsibilities that we ignore the small signs of discontent, but they tend to build up over time. If you consistently feel unmotivated, disconnected, or like you've stopped growing, these emotions are your body's way of telling you that a change is needed. Ignoring them could mean missing out on a great opportunity to realign your career with your passions and strengths. So take time to reflect regularly, whether through journaling, talking with a mentor, or just taking a moment to pause and assess how you feel about your work. If you sense a shift in your energy or excitement levels, don't brush it off as a passing phase. It might be a signal that a pivot could lead to the next chapter in your career journey. Once you've identified that it might be time for a change, the next step is deciding where to pivot. This can be both an exciting and a challenging phase because it requires you to get clear on your goals, motivations, and what you really want for the future. Here are a few critical questions to help you navigate this decision. One of the first questions to ask yourself is whether you want to stay within a similar role but move to a different industry, or if you're ready for a complete career shift. This decision will greatly impact the steps you need to take in your transition. If you're leaning towards staying in a similar role, but perhaps in a different industry, you can tap into existing skills and experience. The industries may differ, but the core responsibilities and leadership functions could remain the same. For example, you could transition from the tech sector into healthcare, or from finance to education, but still manage teams and lead projects. On the other hand, if you feel that it's time for a complete reinvention of your career, maybe you've discovered a new passion or interest, or you're eager to explore an entirely different path, it may require a more significant shift. This could mean going back to school, gaining new qualifications, or even starting at a more entry-level role in your new chosen field to build up experience. While this path is often more challenging, it can also be incredibly rewarding if you're up for a new direction. After deciding the general direction you want to head in, it's time to look inward and assess your strengths. Take stock of the skills you've developed so far and think about how they might transfer to a new role or industry. You'll likely have more transferable skills than you realise. For example, leadership, strategic thinking, project management, and communication are valuable skills in almost any industry. Maybe your background is in technology, but you have experience managing cross-functional teams. Those skills are just as needed in marketing, operations, or even non-profit sectors. Or perhaps you've built expertise in data analysis and can pivot into consulting or business intelligence. Don't forget to consider soft skills too, like emotional intelligence, adaptability, and problem solving. These can play a major role in leadership transitions, no matter the industry or job function. Take time to really reflect on your accomplishments and think about the impact you've made in your current or past roles. That can help you identify skills you've taken for granted, but that are highly valued in other fields. Next, think about where the gaps are between where you are now and where you want to go. There are a few transitions where you don't need to add a new skill to your toolkit. The key is to be honest with yourself about what you need to learn or develop in order to be successful in your new role or industry. Ask yourself, are there new tools, technologies, or methodologies that I need to master? Do I need additional training or certifications to qualify for this new direction? For example, if you're moving into a more technical field from a non-technical one, you might need to learn a programming language or become familiar with certain software. On the other hand, if you're transitioning to a more leadership-heavy role, you might want to work on refining your emotional intelligence, decision-making under pressure, or strategic planning skills. There are readiness courses, books, and workshops that can help you develop new competencies, so don't be afraid to invest in yourself. The key here is to take actionable steps, whether it's signing up for a certification program, joining relevant online communities, or shadowing someone in your desired role. Make sure you're actively closing those gaps. One of the most important things to remember as you decide on your next steps is that your pivot should align with your long-term career goals. This is where vision and strategy come into play. Ask yourself, will this new role or industry help me get closer to who I want to be in the next 5 or 10 years? Don't just focus on the immediate benefits of making a change. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new opportunity, but make sure that whatever direction you choose aligns with your ultimate aspirations and long-term vision. If your new role is a stepping stone that takes you closer to where you want to be, then it's a great move. But if it feels like a temporary fix or a move away from your true aspirations, it might be time to reconsider. By making sure your next role is in line with your long-term career trajectory, you'll be much more likely to stay motivated, focused, and satisfied as you work towards your future. Now, let's talk about the how. Making a transition, whether it's to a new role, a new industry, or a completely new career path, can be challenging. But with the right plan, you can make it much more smoother. The more thoughtful and deliberate your approach, the more likely you'll find success in your pivot. Let's walk through a few key steps to help you manage the transition with confidence and clarity. The power of your professional network cannot be underestimated. When making a significant change, it's critical to tap into the people you know, those who can offer insights, guidance, and sometimes even opportunities. Talk to individuals who've made similar pivots or are currently working in the industry you're interested in. By learning from their experiences, you can gain a much clearer understanding of what the transition involves. Ask questions about the challenges they faced. what surprised them about the change, and what advice they'd give to someone just starting out. Not only will this help you prepare for the potential obstacles you may encounter, but it will also give you valuable insight into the nuances of the industry or role you're pursuing. Your network might also open up opportunities for introductions to people in your desired field, or it might lead you to job openings that aren't widely advertised. Networking isn't just about finding a job, it's about expanding your knowledge and building relationships that can support you through the transition. When you pivot to a new role or industry, your experience might not seem like a perfect fit on paper. This is where the importance of tailoring your CV and personal brand comes in. You need to reframe your experience in a way that highlights your transferable skills and showcases the impact you've had in previous roles. For example, if you're transitioning from marketing to operations, focus on how your leadership, problem solving, and project management skills are relevant in both contexts. Show how you've managed teams, developed strategies, or solved complex challenges, even if those tasks were in a different sector. Updating your personal brand also involves reflecting this change across your LinkedIn profile, portfolio, and any other professional platforms. Be clear about your new career direction and how your background supports that vision. Craft a compelling narrative about your pivot, one that emphasises how your experience makes you uniquely qualified for the new role. This helps employers and others in your network understand why you're making the shift and how you bring value to the table. A key thing to remember during any transition is that it takes time. As much as you might be eager to jump into your new role, don't rush the process. Understand that career shifts often involve a period of adjustment, learning, and growing into the new role. It might take longer than you expected to find the right opportunity, and you may face setbacks along the way. Being patient with yourself is crucial. You're essentially embarking on a new chapter, and that takes time to build up the necessary experience, knowledge, and confidence in a new field. Be kind to yourself during this process and understand that every step you take is bringing you closer to your goal, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Having a mentor who has already successfully navigated the transition you're about to make can be one of the most valuable resources in your journey. Whether they're in your current network or someone you reach out to specifically for guidance, mentorship can offer you invaluable insights. A mentor who's been through a similar pivot can provide advice on how to handle challenges, help you refine your strategy, and give you a realistic picture of what to expect. They'll be able to share the lessons they've learned, point out to potential blind spots, and offer encouragement when things get tough. Their perspective is grounded in real-world experience, which can give you the confidence you need to move forward. And beyond that, a mentor can often be a source of accountability, helping you stay on track and continue to push forward when motivation dips. And remember, transitions often don't happen overnight. It's about consistently taking the right steps and staying focused on your goal. There may be moments when you feel uncertain or frustrated, but don't let that derail your progress. Stay clear on why you're making this change and trust the process. Keep learning, adapting, and making meaningful connections along the way. You've got this, and with each step, you're moving closer to a role that aligns with your long-term vision and aspirations. One of the biggest challenges when it comes to pivoting is the fear of the unknown. It's completely normal to feel uneasy when you're considering a significant change, especially when it comes to leadership roles. Stepping into unfamiliar territory can be intimidating, but here's the thing. You've already demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and problem solving in your current role. These are skills that are transferable to any environment, and they'll serve you just as well as you move into new roles or industries. The challenge now is how you apply them. Let's talk about how you can manage and overcome the fear of change during this process. Discomfort is a natural part of growth. Whenever you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, whether it's stepping into a new role, learning a new industry, or leading in a new environment, discomfort is inevitable, but the more you embrace it, the quicker you'll adapt and thrive. Think about the times when you faced challenges in your career before. At first, they were probably intimidating or uncomfortable, but over time you became better at handling them. Whether it was managing a difficult project, leading a new team, or navigating a tough situation, you learned and grew from those experiences. When you're pivoting, this discomfort is just another opportunity to stretch and develop new skills. Instead of avoiding it, lean into it, take calculated risk, stretch your capabilities, and trust that with each small step, you'll grow more comfortable. The more you push yourself, the more resilient you become. It's easy to view a career pivot as a failure, especially if you're leaving a role that you've worked hard to build or an industry that you've grown familiar with. But a pivot isn't a failure, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to apply your experience in new ways, to expand your impact, and to unlock new potential within yourself. Think of it as a redefinition of success. You're not abandoning your previous role or accomplishments, but rather evolving and diversifying your skill set. A pivot allows you to bring a fresh perspective to a new environment and have a broader impact. It's about growth, not failure. In fact, those who successfully pivot often find themselves in positions where they can make even greater contributions and find new forms of fulfilment. Embrace the idea that every step you take is part of a larger journey, and that journey is about unlocking your true potential. The fear of change is real, but so is the excitement of discovery and the satisfaction of overcoming challenges. Another powerful way to overcome fear during a pivot is to stay grounded in your vision. Remind yourself why you want to make this change in the first place. What is it that excites you about the new direction? What are the goals and aspirations that you're chasing? Having a clear vision for your future will keep you motivated through the challenges and help you maintain your focus when the going gets tough. When you're clear about your why, it becomes much easier to navigate moments of doubt. It acts as your North Star, guiding you through any obstacles and help you make decisions that align with your long-term aspirations. Whether your vision is about making a bigger impact, achieving work-life balance, or simply stepping into a role that excites you, reminding yourself of that purpose can help you overcome any fear of the unknown. Your vision should be compelling enough to push through discomfort, challenges, and moments of uncertainty. It's that vision that will help you persist and succeed through the transition. Fear is a natural response to change, but it doesn't have to hold you back. Embrace the discomfort, see the pivot as an opportunity to grow, and keep your vision clear. Remember, the skills and resilience you've built in your career so far are the very tools that will help you succeed in this new chapter. And in the end, overcoming that fear will lead to a stronger, more fulfilled version of yourself. So, in conclusion, remember that pivoting in leadership is not about jumping ship at the first sign of discomfort, but about making a thoughtful, strategic move that aligns with your long-term goals. Whether you're stepping into a new role within your current industry or moving to a completely different sector, having clarity about your purpose, transferable skills, and the path forward is crucial. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Your Path to Career Success. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to make your next big move. If this episode lit a fire within you, hit that subscribe button, share the love with a review, and spread the wisdom with your friends and co-workers. Alternatively, follow me on LinkedIn, Catherine Hall, the Career Owl. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, and I'll see you in the next episode.